Good, good morning dear students. Welcome back to our lesson, that is Management of Natural Resources. In this lesson students, we are going to talk, means we have already talked also about one of the important natural resources, that is wildlife and forest and wildlife we have seen. And today's our water resource which is natural, and we have to manage it very properly as well as judiciously, and that resource is called as a water. Okay, and third one resource is also there, that is coal and petroleum. So today we are going to talk about water. Total three natural resources are there, that is forest and wildlife is the first, second is water, and third is our coal and petroleum. Out of it, forest and wildlife is renewable resource. It is inexhaustible resource, but to get it back, it's a very lengthy process, so we have to use it very judiciously. And related to all problems of wildlife and forest we have seen. And today, water for all, you can see students in your textbook, water for all it is written, means water is also one of the important natural resource. And everyone has the right to use it, so equitable distribution should be done for water also very well. So here in this topic today we are going to discuss how was the condition of the water resources or irrigation resources before British rule, and after British rule, and in independent India too. So today we are going to talk about water resources or water for all. Students, as you know that the chemical formula for the water is H2O, means dihydrogen monoxide. Okay, water is colorless, odorless, and tasteless liquid. Actually, water is odorless, means it's a proper definition for the water. Water is colorless, odorless, and tasteless liquid. Then too we want it, because 70% our human body is composed of water, and so that 2 liters water we should drink every day. 2 to 3 liters water must be drunken by us, so that we can keep our body hydrated. So water is really very much basic necessity for all terrestrial forms of life. Okay, in class 9 we have seen the importance of water, as well as how the water cycle work, and means rain cycle or water cycle, how we are getting our water back. So there is a lot of importance about the water, and water is only the resource which we use for our day to day activities. 70% of our body contains water, and so that to keep our body hydrated, a proper moisturize, we have to drink water 2 liters per day. Students, you are knowing on the earth, 100% earth, on the 100% earth, water is only 70.8% water is present. Okay, and out of that 70.8% water, 97% water is saline water. Students, this is saline water, means the water which is present into the huge seas and ocean. That water, 97% is saline water, and 3% water is available in the form of stream, in the form of lakes, in the form of wells. Such water is present into the form of wells and lakes. But the water which is present into the saline, that water is not potable or drinkable, because it contains a large amount or excess amount of salts and minerals dissolved in it, and so that it is not drinkable for us, right? But in some Arabian countries nowadays there are some plants to evaporation technique is followed, or a simple distillation technique is followed. Because what happens in the simple distillation technique, we allow the water to boil, and after boiling, what happens students, that water which is accumulated or which is based at the lid, that water is collected, but that water is completely free from the minerals and salts, so that the water is not at all tasty. water adds its taste because of the presence of the minerals. So only in a water bottle, mineral water, it is written specifically ki mineral water, because the taste is getting because of the minerals. So whenever we are not feeling well, or now the season is of going on COVID-19, and mostly we used to drink boiled water. Students, you might have experienced that water is tasteless water. It does not have any kind of taste because all the minerals and salts are vanished from it because of the boiling, all are evaporated. And so to drink such water is not a pleasant event, right? So we like to drink water which adds minerals in it and some salts in it, then only it is drinkable. So this is water is in the form of saline, as well as to make saline water into the drinking water is a expensive process. In Arabian countries there are some plants which are following the distillation technique and making the water drinkable, but that is too much expensive. Their petrol is cheaper than water. Water is more expensive because petrol is easily available, but water is not easily available. So there are some plants in their countries, but fresh water is only 3%. Okay, that fresh water is in the form of lakes, it is in the form of rivers, it is in the form of streams, right? This water is available in the form of wells as well as tube wells. Tube wells means the water which is present under the ground. Under the ground is the great source of the fresh water, which is free from the contaminants even, because whenever the water is on the surface, that water may get contaminated due to the microbes, due to the water pollution, due to the soil pollution. That water may be contaminated, but the water which is under the ground is completely fresh water, because mosquito breeds cannot stagnant over here and cannot breed on it, and the water can remain from away from such contaminants. So underground water table is the great source of the fresh water, but only 3% of fresh water is available. And so only, students, I am saying you all that we have to use it very judiciously, and various water harvesting techniques we have to follow. So students, we are going to talk now what is the basic necessity for all life form. You are knowing, student, and our pattern in India mostly, right? In India, our pattern is monsoon pattern. Monsoon pattern means we are absolutely depend on the rain, but there is no certain pattern for the monsoon. Sometimes it will rain very heavily and can cause flood. Sometimes it will not at all rain and cause drought, as well as scarcity of the water it can cause. So our rainfall pattern is monsoon rainfall pattern, and so that we have to take a lot of care. We should follow a watershed management as well as water harvesting plant. But students, you might be knowing, in our independent India, means before British arrival, our country was really a green country, means green revolution was there, because the local people has given their right, and all the irrigation pattern, even the people were paid by the local people were paid by the local government, and they were getting their benefit, they were getting money from it. They were following the methods of the distribution of the water. In that distribution, what was happening, students? The people who were living far, they were getting benefit first than the people who were living near to the water bodies. This is really a beneficial thing as well as wonderful thing, that the people who were living far were getting first water than the people who were living close to that particular water resource. That is really amazing. Such pattern was followed in various regions of India, and so that everybody was getting proper water. Everybody water was available for each and every people. Okay, even the pattern was monsoon fall. means then too if there was no scarcity of water, flood was there, but scarcity of water is the, it was not possible only because the local people were involved, and local people and gram panchayat was taking a lot of care of all these things. So all were benefited and everyone was getting the benefit of the proper rainfall and the proper water. A study of rainfall pattern not reveal the whole truth behind the water availability in various regions in India. Rains in India are due to the monsoons. This means that most of the rainfall in a few months of the year. We are getting rain for 4 months, and we have to use it. Means we have to store the water for further for 8 months. Means total 12 months we have to use that water, and out of that 4 months we are getting proper rainfall. And despite nature's monsoon's bounty, means if the nature would fall, if the nature would decide to give a rainfall pattern properly, then the proper irrigation would be there, then crops would be growing properly. So water availability is not depend on us, but we were continuously taking effort on water harvesting and using it water as well as keeping it water for the further process. So various techniques were followed by the local people. So here student, we are going to talk about how the water is used, or how water is essential in our day-to-day life. Water is a basic necessity for all life forms. It is the most precious of all natural resources available to us. We use water to drink, wash. We use water for drinking purpose, washing purpose, cooking, cleaning, and for various other purposes related to agriculture. Agriculture also we require water as a irrigation technique, I said you, as well as for the industries require a large amount of water. Approximately 97% of the world's water is saline, as I said you just now, and rest 3% is in the form of fresh water. So the 70% of the earth's surface is covered by the water, that also I have said you. Groundwater is the major source of fresh water for agriculture and domestic use in many areas of the world, particularly in areas with insufficient surface water resources. Rain is important for recharging groundwater levels, students, we are knowing. Overuse of groundwater can cause several problems, means it cannot moisturize the soil, and underground water table will get reduced slowly. Understood? Seepage of the water will get reduced and there will be no further water. So overuse of groundwater should be decreased. Human interventions or human interference pollute water and also changes the availability of water in the various regions. Rain is the very important source of water in India. Rains are largely due to the monsoons. Availability of water in the various regions. You can see, students, despite good rains, we are not able to meet the demand of the water due to the following reasons. See, water is the monsoon pattern is the major reason that why we cannot fulfill our demand of the water, because of the monsoon pattern. But there are other reasons also present, and these reasons are also responsible for the water scarcity. What are those? We will see one by one. Increasing population. Students, you are knowing, as the population is increasing at extreme amount, and to meet the demand of all the people, it's really being very difficult nowadays. So this is also one of the important reason for the scarcity of water. After a loss of vegetation cover, as students in last topic only, forest and wildlife, I have explained you, we are trying to cover a land, we are degrading land, deforestation is taking place, and so that loss of vegetation cover is occurring only and because of it only a very less rainfall is occurring nowadays, and as rainfall is very less, the water seepage is very less. Water seepage is very less, so underground water table recharge is not being properly done, and so that underground water table is going down, and this is also one more reason to have a less rain, to have a scarcity of water. Next is development of crops. See here, as the population is increasing at a high rate, at the same time, to meet the requirement of this population, at least the food we have to provide for this extreme overpopulation, we have to feed them properly. We have to use the plants which are going to give us a good high yield, means high yielding crop pattern we have to follow. As the plants are giving a high amount of crops or high amount of yield from it, so such crops require a large amount of water too. So high yielding crops are now introduced, means the water is required for those crops in a abundant amount, and so that the water scarcity is taking place. So this is also the reason. Next is discharge of untreated sewage. This is one of the important reason that why water we cannot use that untreated sewage. That also we have seen in our introductory topic of management of natural resources. The water is directly thrown into the river bodies or into the surface water bodies. It should be treated. It should be first make neutralize, and then it should be thrown into the river. But it is directly thrown into the river. It affects on the marine life. It affects on the aquatic ecosystem too. Industrial effluents are also directly throwing into the water. Students, you are knowing the hydroelectricity. Hydroelectricity is mostly on the dam water, right? So what happens here in the dam water? This dam water is we can say it is being very hot, and that hot water is directly thrown. That hot water is directly thrown into the river bodies, right? And into the river bodies, whatever the fishes are being there, those fishes, that heat is unbearable, right? They cannot bear that much heat and they die. So this is also important effect is taking place on that particular ecosystem. As at the same time, there are some plants, aquatic plants, which are also cannot grow properly as because of this extreme heat, because of the hydroelectric power plant are taking place over there. As well as the urban waste into the rivers. Urban waste means women are washing clothes, washing utensils, washing their animals, as well as any other things are also they are directly washing into the rivers. So this is also one kind of reason to reduce the water flow. Then the changing lifestyle of the people, especially in urban areas, is consuming more water. Means the people who are living into the villages are using less water compared to the urban areas. Rural areas, people are using very less. Here urban waste, just now I said you, in urban waste it comes the people of the city life. In city life we require a lot amount of water, and their waste material they are throwing, and rural areas they are washing their clothes, they are washing their utensils, washing their animals, and directly waste they are throwing into the river bodies. So that is coming into the rural area. And urban area require, the people who are in the urban area require require a lot amount of water, because in a flush we require a lot amount of water. When we go for toilet, whenever we do a flush, that time we require a large amount of water. 1 to 2 bucket at a time we require, right? Instead of throwing directly water into that pots, we require a large amount of water. So urban people are using a large amount of water. Various irrigation methods such as dams, tanks, canals have been used since the ancient time. Students, you are knowing in ancient time, here I am going to explain you with the help of one diagram. Khadins were used. Khadins means actually small embankment only means embankment means a small wall is only drawn across a river flow. What that Khadins was doing, that Khadin was actually doing seepage, means that because of that Khadin, the water body means it was getting various irrigation methods such as dams, tanks and canals have been used since the ancient times. However, these were generally managed by local people. As I said you just now, local people used to manage it. Government was not peeping in that, because local people has to manage, as well as local people should get benefit. So local people were managing all these things, and all measures were taken to use water resources in such a way that fulfill the basic minimum requirements for both agriculture and daily needs throughout year. It's most important. Throughout the year, people were getting the water not only for drinking purpose but also for irrigation purpose too. Means they can fulfill their basic needs of drinking water, for washing clothes, for washing things. At the same time, for irrigation also the same water was used, which was stored by the local people, which was looked after by the local people, which was managed by the local people. And the use of the store water, they fulfill the basic minimum requirements for both agriculture and daily needs throughout the year. The use of stored water was strictly regulated by the local people. The power that authority had given to the local people, means everybody was getting a proper benefit. Equitable distribution was done by the local people. Local people used to see that every person should get enough amount of water. Not only few handful rich people must get benefit from the water. All the people should get proper benefit of it. However, whenever the Britishers came in India, they took charge. After coming in India, a lot of problems started occurring. First of all, they introduced the huge multi-crore mega projects such as roads and dams. They had focused more on the dams, and dams, a lot of problems are created due to the dams. Means dams were really beneficial, no doubt dams were beneficial, but at the same time there was no equitable distribution as done because of the dams, because dams used to moisturize the area which is very close. Means the people who were living very close were getting benefit from it, but the people who were far were not getting a benefit from it. The example is the dam in Rajasthan. There is Indira Gandhi Canal. The people who were far were not getting the benefit from it, but the people who were very close are getting all kind of benefit of this Indira Gandhi Canal. So lot of problems were occurred. Good things are also taken place. I am not saying that dams are bad. Dams actually had done a progress. Means hydroelectric power plant has introduced because of the dam, because of the Britishers. But these projects were really multi-crore and mega project. Means this project require a lot amount of money. Just now, very soon I am going to explain you what problems are caused due to the dams. That also I am going to explain you. But a lot of problems arises due to the dam, students. So we will take in account all those. However, Britishers changed the whole system. They neglected the local dams. Here also one more the reason of the conflict between the Britishers and the local people. Because in the first, before British arrival, everything was in the possession of the local people, and local people were happy in whatever they had. They were happy. They had no progress, so-called progress. They had no so-called progress, but they were happy and everybody was getting a proper benefit. But after introducing the dam, only few people were benefited. So this is also one of the important reason of conflict between the local people and the Britishers. The neglected the local dams and the canals are established large dams and the canals that covered the large areas, and the same process was carried one by our newly formed. And whenever the British went in independent India also, the same techniques, strategies were followed by our government, and government also did the same mistake sometimes. Mega projects neglected local water storage and irrigation methods. So what is meant by dams? First of all, we will see dams means what. Dams are the massive barriers built across rivers and streams to confine and utilize water for various human purposes such as irrigation and generation of electricity. Mostly the dams were built for the generation of electricity. Irrigation purpose was there, means people could get a proper water supply throughout year, that is called irrigation. But the another aspect on what the dams were introduced, that is generation of electricity, that is also called as hydroelectric power plant. Dams prevent flooding because they store water during rainy season. They can store the water during rainy season because of the dam. Flood may not cause, every time it is not possible, sometimes flood, it may not flooded because of the dams. Okay, so large dams ensure the storage of adequate amount of water, not only for irrigation, it can increase the underground water table. So it can recharge underground water table, as well as it can cause a seepage of water table, and the surrounding area can get moisturized, and whole year the people can get a enough amount of water. The canal system leading from dams helps in transfer of large quantity of water to great distances. For example, Indira Gandhi Canal brought greenery to considerable amount and areas of Rajasthan. Just now I said you Indira Gandhi Canal. And some examples, there are various examples of dams in India are Bhakra Nangal Dam built across the river Satluj in Punjab, Sardar Sarovar Dam built on the Narmada in Gujarat, on the Narmada river in Gujarat, and Meter Dam built on the river Kaveri in Tamil Nadu. So there are various dams. See students, you can see the picture of dam over here. This is the picture of dam. Okay, this is the picture of dam, you can see. So this is the dam built across a river in a big storehouse of water. So what are the benefits of dam? We'll see just some benefits of dams. Hydroelectric power generation, means hydroelectric power plants can be generated, or electricity can be prepared, can be generated because of the dam. Transfer of water using canals from areas of excess water to water deficit areas, means whereas there is a lot scarcity of water, through canal the water can be provided to that particular area. So this is also one of the important benefit of the dam. Later on, irrigation during dry period. Okay, even there is no water, and if there is a large amount of water storage is present into the dam, then really it's a good news for the people who are living nearby, can get the water supply for whole year. So it's a benefit, important benefit of the dam, that is irrigation during dry period. Flood control and soil protection. If there is no flood, so no soil can be flown along with the water. So flood control and soil can be protected, soil erosion can be stopped because of the dam. Ensure year round water supply, means whole year the people can get the water supply. Multi-purpose river valleys projects also provide inland water navigation. Multicolor river valleys project, water navigation. These things also can be used, or can be used by the people. Although dams have been useful, but they also create a number of environmental issues and problems. Even there are benefits of the dam. So students, in exam they may ask you what are the benefits of the dam. So you have to mention all those points. At the same time, what are the problems caused due to the dams, then too we have to be careful. Now I shall explain you what are the problems caused due to the dams. The enormous weight of water behind the dam could lead to cracks in dams and may result in the floods. Students, we have experienced just now, last year we have experienced such dam, that what can happen if there is a crack to the dam. Okay, the whole villages can flow due to in it. So this will lead to the submergence of large areas of land, and that might include the fertile fields and human settlements. Means human and prosperity may in danger if there is a breakage to the dam. Second is resettlement and rehabilitation problem of the displaced people. If whenever we want to build a huge wall across a river or across a water flow, that time what happens, the people who are living nearby has to go from there first of all. So their rehabilitation problem taking place, they had to leave, and their resettlement is required. First of all, they have to leave their houses and they have to settle somewhere else. It's really very difficult, students, and they have to follow it, and this is the problem caused due to the dam. Then next is salts left behind by evaporation increase the salinity of the river and makes its water unusable when it reaches the downstream cities. Okay, because whenever these dams are going and they are following the process of evaporation, that time the water becomes really very saline, and whenever it is going to the cities, downstream cities, or whenever we are supplying that water to the cities, that water becomes saline. Means sometimes it may not be used for the drinking purpose or for other purpose, because that water becomes hard water. Okay, excess amount of evaporation can lead to the salinity of the water. Then there is no equitable distribution of water, as I explained you. Thus farmers close to the water source grow water intensive crops like sugar canes and rice, while farmers further, see, the farmers close to the water can use. So Ganga, at the basin of the Ganga, mostly rice and sugarcane is taken because a large amount of water is present, and so the farmer who are close can take such crops only, and the farmers who are far away from that dam cannot take such crops which are high yielding crops and good, which can get a good benefit from the crop. So equitable distribution is not there. Okay, so this is also one more example of no equitable distribution, that the farmers close to the water resource grow water intensive crops like sugarcane and rice, while farmers farther downstream do not get any water, and the woes of these people who have been promised benefits which never arrived are added to the discontentment among the people who have been displaced by the building of the dam and its canal network. Means the all people do not get equal distribution, and all people are not get properly benefited from the same. The people who are living near to the dam are getting more benefit, and the people who are living far are not getting their proper benefit. Environmentalists oppose the building of large dams. Actually, it is against the rule, right? It is against the rule. Whenever the water is flowing, that water should flow. So environmentalists are always opposing the dam. Environmentalists oppose the building of large dam because they submerged the large tracts of natural vegetation, because natural vegetation comes under the danger condition because that has to submerged, and because of their submerge a lot of problems are getting occurred. Then that not only natural vegetation but wildlife means the plants, various kinds of plants and animals are living in that particular area, their life come in danger. Agricultural land come in danger. Human habitation problem is taking place. First of all, people has to excavate their places, and they have to again resettlement is possible. So hundreds of villages are destroyed and thousands of people are displaced, and it is because of these regions there has been opposition against Tehri Dam on Ganga River and Narmada Bachao Andolan by Medha Patkar. You might be knowing, student. Tehri Dam on Ganga River, and still the people are not get their benefit. Means people were said that you will get your all benefits and all your compensation that you have faced because of your rehabilitation problem. So whatever you want you will be getting in future, but still that things are in future only in their lives. Still the people are not fulfilled their demand, and government is really in vain to fulfill their demand. Government is not paying attention towards their demand, and still the people are fighting Tawa Dam in Madhya Pradesh. The same problem. People are not still getting their benefits which were said by the government at the time of this multi-crore project like dams. So Narmada Bachao Andolan under the guidance of Medha Patkar still raising the height of the Sardar Sarovar Dam over river Narmada. This is the still the people are fighting for their rights, but people are not getting, local people are not getting their benefits. So there are various problems getting occurred due to the dam. What are those problems? There are three major problems occurs due to the dam. Those are social problems, economic problems, and environmental problems. So first we will talk about social problems. Because the people displace large number of peasants and tribals without adequate compensation or rehabilitation. Social problem, because people has to displace the tribal communities has to displaced, and they should get a proper compensation from it, and their rehabilitation problem must get solved by the government. But the problem is not solved by the government, and they did not get their compensation. The outsides of the Tawa Dam built in 1970, still the people are fighting, the people are not getting benefit from it, which is promised by the government. Second is economic problem is getting occurred. As I said you, these projects are multi-crore projects, mega projects. So because they swallow up a huge amount of public money without the generation of proportionate benefits, means people's money only is used. This mega project are done based on the people money only. So these people money are using, the money by the public is only earned and used for such mega projects. So economic problems are getting arised by building dams. And third is environmental issues. What environmental issues are caused? Because they contribute enormously to deforestation and loss of biological diversity. It may affect on the ecological balance, student. Environmental means in environment it may affect on the food chain and food web, and it may imbalance the ecological imbalance may occur due to the dams. So majorly there are three kinds of problems are taking place, that is social problems, economic problems, and environmental problems. So here we have talked about various problems are caused due to the dams.